So, in this episode, I'm going to be going over how to build team and scale. And before we start scaling, the first thing we need to do is to build teams so that we can delegate things that can help us to grow, help us to go ahead and um, put together offers, double down on the things that are actually working in our businesses. That's going to help that, right? So a lot of the times it's like they want to hire, clients want to hire, and I'm like, okay, perfect. But have you built processes and things around this? Have you created a repeatable process and system that will support that end goal? And in order for you might have already heard this term where it's like in order to go fast, you have to slow down. And I know you might get an eye roll, but that's just how it is. So if you can build your processes first and build that system and make it repeatable, it'll be easier for you to just be able to look for the talent that you're going to need in order to bring on board and then be able to delegate that and be able to empower that team member to go ahead and take that responsibility and run with it and really help you scale. Whether that's a VA, that's someone that's going to be editing your podcast, a support coach is going to help you. By you having those things already done and prepared, then train them and then bring them on board. It's going to help you to go a lot faster. So don't necessarily think that slowing down is actually robbing you of time. If anything, it's actually going to help you go faster. So pretty much those are the things that I'm going to be talking about today. And I'm going to dive into how to build team. And then after that, I'll go into a little bit more into the detail of scaling. So when I say building team, I'm referring to the fact that you have to know exactly what roles you are trying to fill, right? So if you are, let's say, I'm going to take, for example, a business coach, you might want to scale and you might want to go ahead and open a program, right? And you might not be the only one that's really the head coach, right? In this program, you might want to bring support coaches that can support your clients. So you might have to start doing some modules, bringing them in and teaching them your methodologies and your structures and kind of like how is it that you teach business in order to be able for them to be able to assist you and basically teach the same modalities and your same methodologies to your ideal client. That's going to take time. And if you can start doing that from the start, that's going to help you to buy time per se and be able to just be able to delegate that and have them basically train and then fine tuning as they go along. Now, that's with a support coach. Now, if you're trying to, let's say, have someone that's onboarding clients, that's also going to be a process and a system that you can work on, right? It's not like the end draft when you started, but it's going to get a lot of updating as you bring someone else along that takes over that as you empower them to go ahead and take full control out of that position, right? So try to see like your procedures just as a starting point, like your systems and your structures as a starting point. When you bring other people in, they can always bring their own expertise and refine and fine tune this process. So kind of, also be open to that idea as well. And then with doing this pre-work and taking your time, documenting, doing the videos, doing the trainings, then when you bring that person in your onboarding them, the training process of that is going to feel less heavy. You're going to actually enjoy the experience. And you can start off with maybe one VA, and then you can figure out, okay, what's the next hire I have, right? As you're building these procedures here for yourself and your structures, you can start seeing what's taking more of your time. For example, if social media engagement is taking more of your time and you already have a system and a process for that, what happens first, what happens second, then you can go ahead and hire that VA that can help you with community engagement, and they'll know exactly, okay, on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I go in and I do 1, 2, 3, and then I'm out. And that having that systems, that structure, and that process is going to eliminate a lot of the coming back and forth, a lot of them coming to you for questions, feeling like they don't know what they're doing because you have already documented an outline and also have dedicated some time as you've hired them to go ahead and train them. That doesn't mean that they can't come to you, but really you empower them to be resourceful and use the resources that you have built beforehand so that they can go ahead and navigate those things before they have to come to you and ask you questions, right? That is going to help you to make the training process easier for you, but also make it easier for the team if you already have a team, but also make it easier for that individual that's coming and joining your business as a VA, a support coach, an expert, right? Whichever it is that you're hiring. And you do the same process, right? The same repeatable process with every team member that you're bringing on board. It's just switching different, per se, different departments, right? I might decide to hire an editor, right? I might not need to train that editor. That editor might know exactly what they need to do because that's their specialty. But maybe I don't want to hire a specialist, right? Maybe my editing is pretty simple and easy. I might just be like, we'll train you, we'll show you exactly how we like it. Here's the procedures and the processes, and here's the video of how you can do that. All right. That might be another choice. I might hire a support coach, and because of that, I'm going to give her kind of like a few videos of modules of what my framework is about, and then break it down exactly as to what each framework means and how we apply that into our coaching. And then they're open to bring their questions as we're training along. I might train them for 3 to 4 months, depending on what we see the need may be. Now, I might bring on a COO, someone that takes care of that oversees the operations of the business on a daily basis, because my headspace is just wants to focus on content and coaching my clients, right? That's all I want to focus on. And I'm going to delegate everything else to team. So I might just have a CEO that oversees these other people that I am hiring, right? This other team, and really oversee the fact that the that the daily, you know, things that need to happen in the business are taken care of. And if there's anything that, COO can't answer, she can be the one or the point of contact that can bring that to my attention via Slack, via an email, depending on what the tool of communication we decide on, right? This is kind of to give you an idea of what that looks like, right? So same thing can be done with payment processing, invoicing, administration, questions on the inbox. You can start creating those processes and those procedures, because at the beginning, we're all doing the steps. And maybe like in the beginning of my business, I hired someone to automate the onboarding process. So that person that automated all of that would have to give me the written procedure, but also give me a video of how they did it. And if there were any updates needed, how would she do those updates? Because after she was gone, obviously somebody needed to keep that updated, and we needed that in our bank of information. So it's either something that you've created on your own, or something that you've brought in a specialist on a one-time project that has helped you create that into your business, but you still want to have that recorded somewhere to be able to go ahead and just hand that over and have them look it over and become resourceful enough to be able to do the training and be able to execute that. Now, once that has been done and you are building the team and you have everybody trained, that's when scaling becomes so much easier, and that's where we see less stress, because now that you have hands on deck, it's easy. Everybody knows what we're doing, everybody understands what's going, versus if we do it the other way around, where you really don't have the team trained, you really don't have the processes, and you don't have the structures. Scaling is going to feel like a hot mess, because team doesn't know what they're doing, team's going to feel confused, they're not going to be properly trained. And a lot of the things are going to happen as you're scaling, and you're going to see those things come up. And because you're the CEO, the questions will come to you at the end of the day. Questions, decisions will come after you if that hasn't been done. And you kind of will feel like, I'm paying all this money and I still feel like I'm the bottleneck of it. But when you put systems, procedures in place, and you give everybody a clear directive of what the role is in the different roles, it will make your job as a CEO a lot easier to focus on the only areas that you can do, which would be content, which would be coaching, which would be looking at the bigger vision of the business, the future, right? And how you can move along, how you can create better procedures. And even in that, you can also delegate. Like procedures, maybe it's not something that you are passionate about, and you could just totally delegate that to someone else. But you can focus on you as getting really, really good at your craft, getting really, really good at coaching, getting really good at your content and what your people are asking for. It just frees up all that space. So although you might feel that taking the time to build your team, may that be 6 months, a year, might feel like it's gonna slow you down. Really, in reality, it's about shifting it. It's like you're taking a step back, but it's gonna allow for you to go 2 to 3 times faster. And that's how we need to be viewing the point of building team, right? It's an investment of resources and time that is going to give you an ROI of it's going to give you back time, it's going to free you up, and it's going to also give you a financial and ROI in return, because now you can serve more people, your customers are going to be more happy, you're going to be able to have more client retention in your programs and offers, by investing this your time into these specific people in your team. So that's something that I find that entrepreneurs wants to go really, really fast, and it's like wait, just because you think that you hire all these people doesn't mean that you're going to grow fast. Majority of the time, when things are not done with a plan and with training and with processes and structures and systems, you slow down your growth, your scalability, and it ends up hurting the business more than anything. And that's when you start seeing team members not being happy. Then you feel stressed. Now you are a stressed CEO. You start resenting your business, and you just want to tear it all down and be like, it was so much easier when it was just me. Well, yes, I mean, you were doing everything, but now you have more people involved, life is happening, so as you're going along and writing or putting systems and processes and procedures in place, you want to keep in mind, when I hire, what is the thing that I want this person to know? The more detailed, the more direct you can be, the easier is it going to be for your team to work with you and really deliver on that bigger vision that you have as a business owner. And it's going to help you get clearer on what it is that's important to you in the company. What's the value that you want to focus on? What's the mission? Because then that's something you can go ahead and infuse and drive and inspire your team with, in order to make that big, growth that you want to achieve at the end of the day. So taking time to build the team is going to give you a return on your investment. So take the time to decide what your first 3 hires will be, and start writing processes now. If you're in a season where it's like, okay, I want to hire, but it feels heavy, a lot of the times it feels heavy because you as the business owner still don't have any systems or structures or processes around that specific thing you want to delegate. And that's why it feels hard. And that's why you don't know what to look for in someone when you're going to bring them on board. That's a lot of the work we do with our clients when they want to scale and grow. It's like, all right, now we're going to focus on growing the team. Let's create the processes, right? If you don't know it, that's the work we're going to do. We're going to figure out what the system is, what the process should be, and really draw that out, create some videos, and then, start looking for those team members, hiring them and doing the training. Also, if you just are like, I don't have the time for this, I don't want to be training, that's something that also can be outsourced to someone else. But at the end of the day, if you want them trained in a certain way, you're going to have an idea of what it is that your business, or what are the activities that you do in the business, how they take place, in order to be able to hand that off to someone else to be able to do that training for you. So you can't escape the work. You can't go around it, because then you'll find yourself in the same situation where it's like, but I'm not getting what I want. Well, in order to get what you want, you need to take and invest time into building those things in, so that you get what you want. You can't get what you don't put into into the effect, right? So if you want a team that understands you, who you are, understands what you want, understands your vision, you need to invest that into your team, into your business, and really grow together, because as the business grows and evolves, you'll be growing as well. Team will start understanding better your wants, your likes, the way you think, the way you see things, and will be empowered to make decisions and understand, Patty wouldn't do it this way. Or let me go here and ask, Michelle, let's say CEO, right? What she thinks, what the next step should be. If that team member can't find that decision or that answer to that question that they need to overcome. So it just allows for your business to grow and scale so much easier and actually feel at ease. Okay. I'm not saying it's easy. It's just, if you want your business to feel free, and you want to really reap the benefits of being profitable, and you really want to see an ROI, and you want to see your programs grow, and you want to see more retention in your programs, that's the investment you need to be doing. You need to be doing that investment in your people. And that might mean 6 months, that might mean a year. It all depends, right, on what it is that you're doing. And then obviously I always say that look at it from the lens of it's going to pay you dividends over and over and over and over again. So let's say you do slow down for 6 months. That is going to give you, for years to come, right, an ROI. And this is when you start seeing some of the coaches in the industry really scale up their programs. But it's because they've spent a season of their business training team, really fine tuning that so that they can make that growth. So if this is what you want to do and where you want to go, that's really something that you want to see, right? Am I creating processes? Am I documenting the steps, the processes, the structures? Do I even have a structure? And if I don't, how can I add that? That's how you can start maximizing your time right now in order to be able to start building your team, right? If I wanted to bring a support coach on board, which I have, then all I have to do really is bring her on board, show her exactly what the procedure, the processes are, and she'll be able to go ahead and send on the coaching calls. But because I've taken the time to go ahead and document that beforehand, right? So it's easy for me to kind of just look for the talent of, the qualities that I'm looking for, and then just, plan out how I'm going to train this specific team member to my team, because I know that, 6 months time, I'll be taking a step back, right? In hours, or I'll be able to be doing other things that the business needs. So kind of take that example and see where you're at in your business and how you can go ahead and start creating processes, procedures, meaning like documenting, right? Like, what do you do when you do your content? What do you do when you go and you get on a sales call? What do you do when you onboard a client, when you offboard a client? What do you do when you start preparing content? What's the 10 steps for you to do your podcast? What are the steps for you to map out a launch, right? All those things. The more you document, and the more you document by paper, by video, and have that in a bank, is going to help you long term. So that's what I have for you guys today. And I look forward to talking to you again in the next episode.